very high level, there are generally kind of the two main international airports that you can get to the Philippines. Manila, being the capital, is the main one. You get a lot of good direct international flights into Manila, whether you're coming through, the Middle East from Europe, or you've got a lot of the key Asian hubs of Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, and so on that you can hop through. Australia's got some good access. And you're even getting some flights all the way over from, the West Coast and the East Coast of America. So very, very accessible. The other international airport is Cebu. Fewer direct international flights, mainly coming out of kind of Korea, Japan. You can still hop through Singapore, Kuala Lumpur, or maybe even from the Middle East. The benefit of Cebu as a destination is that you're getting straight into the Visayas region, which is fantastic for diving in the Philippines. I'll talk about that in more detail in a bit. But if you are heading to the Visayas, getting straight into Cebu does save that additional domestic flight, which can be quite helpful. And then domestically, once you are in the Philippines, there are sort of over 40 or so different domestic airports. Generally, domestic flights are pretty reliable and quite regular. So there's not too many issues to be worried about there. The only things to highlight would be if you are arriving in Manila, there is a terminal switch to get from the international to the domestic one, and that can be a bit of a faff sometimes. You definitely want to make sure you've given yourself a bit of a buffer. If you are heading out to the Philippines to join any liveaboard trips, we would always be keen to kind of recommend arriving the day before arrival, just to give that buffer as well and give you a little bit of time to decompress after your travel. But it's our job as ZuBlu to help with all of that. So, just feel free to reach out and we can be assisting. Aside from the flights, once you are in the Philippines, there are a whole variety of different modes of transport. If you're doing any water-based transfers, sort of heading between different kind of islands, the big routes will have car ferries that you can also go on as a passenger. They're a little bit slower, but they get the job done. In the more popular routes, people or organizations or companies will have set up passenger ferries. These will be sort of a lot faster, kind of catamaran style boats that will whiz around very quickly. For the sort of shorter haul sea transfers, you might be on a banca ferry. So the bancas are the local Filipino style outrigger boats. They're really kind of eye-catching, beautiful. A lot of dive resorts will use them as their dive boats, but they are also used as short ferry boats as well. On land, there's a really, really good network of coaches and kind of coach lines. So it's very easy to hop between major cities and towns on the coach networks. Once you're in a town or city, there are a lot of these very colorful jeepneys, which you can hop on easily, incredibly colorful, a lot of character, which is always good fun. And then tricycles are the kind of tuk-tuk style things are the final option. If you are staying at a resort along a coastline, it's very easy to head up to the main road and hail a tricycle down and hop on it to go to a nearby restaurant or kind of visit at a nearby resort or something. So yeah, all very easy. The Filipinos have very good spoken English. They're very welcoming, so they're always happy to help. If you are having any challenges. When it comes to the sort of administration side of things, if for the visas, if you're there for 30 days or less, you don't need a visa. But do check with your own government's website, as things may vary. The two important things are to note. You definitely want to make sure your passport has got more than 6 months left on it. I've seen that happen firsthand to a friend on Christmas Eve who arrived in Manila, got held overnight at Manila airport and sent back home on Christmas Day because he didn't have the full 6 months. So that's very, very strictly enforced, and you need the proof of onward travel as well. With regards to COVID now, things are very relaxed. There is no proof of COVID vaccine required when entering the Philippines, and you don't need any proof of any pre-departure kind of negative COVID test or anything. The only real administrative thing to be doing is there is an online health form that you can complete in the days before you arrive or upon arrival, but fairly simple.